Hello, hello, hello. It is me, your True Heel Phenom, SP3. We are here for our first 2023 year-end list, and we are starting with the best of 2023 tag teams of the year. I am joined by my esteemed colleague, not one of my regular tag team partners here on the Tru Heel Heat YouTube channel, but my tag team partner over on Tru Heel Heat Sports. You see him with me on Tru Heel Heat Check. You see him on Blunt Impact over on the Twitch channel. You've seen him on Watch Alongs. It is Chris G. What's going on, good sir?
What's going on, bro? Excited to get into the top tag teams of the year.
Indeed, I'm feeling festive. I'm in the holiday spirit, so I hope everyone watching is as well. Remember to drop the thumbs up on the video. That always helps out with the YouTube algorithms. Remember to share this video with all your wrestling fans, friends, and family on all your favorite social media platforms. If you're new to the Tru Heel Heat YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell to stay notified for all the great content here. I'll just start off 2023 was not the greatest year when it comes to tag teams, in my opinion. I think that in comparison to say like last year where you had the great FTR and Briscoe's run, you had the Usos with their run as undisputed WWE tag team champions. You even had the early part of the year with like rated RK Bro or RK Bro, excuse me. You had Young Bucks were still active last year in 2021. They had their great title run with the AEW World Tag Team Championships. And I would say that that's kind of the big difference with this year in comparison to the last 2 years. There wasn't like an iconic title reign, wasn't an iconic title rivalry in tag team wrestling. So it's kind of a weird list for us to do here. But what's your thoughts on 2023 overall when it comes to tag teams?
It's weird. I feel like this year was the year of makeshift tag teams that actually worked. Like there's just so many teams where they just put two, single stars together. And for the most part, all the tag teams, they kind of worked. You think about Priest and Finn with the Judgment Day. You think of KO and Sammy, even though they've been a tag team before. They were just two established single stars before they became a tag team. Cody and Jay Uso, Big Bill and Ricky Starks. I mean, shit, Jericho and Kenny. It's just a bunch of makeshift tag teams, but for the most part, they worked.
Indeed, indeed. So, in our total for our votes here between our team over on the Tru Heel Heat YouTube channel, as well as our Patreon backers, we had 18 total nominations. So, very interesting how everything panned out here. A couple of honorable mention teams that got like 1 or 2 votes. We got the Motor City Machine Guns, who got 3 nominations. We also got the Judgment Day, the aforementioned Judgment Day of Finn Balor and Damian Priest, who got 2 nominations. And then finally, we have the Rascals, who received 3 nominations. So what do you think about those honorable mention teams? Do you think any one of those probably deserved more notice to get on our list here?
I think because it was such I don't want to say a weak year for tag teams, but like such a weird year for tag teams. I think Judgment Day deserves to be in that upper echelon just because of they've been running the show over at Raw or being like, a main focal point for the better part of a year already. So it's like, what I think they deserve a little bit more love, but I understand why somebody would necessarily not put them in the top.
Yeah, because really, them as a tag team really just started after SummerSlam, and that was after they spent like about 3 months before that teasing them breaking up.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I would say the argument that you have for Judgment Day is probably a lot stronger for Motor City Machine Guns, because they were champions this year, not only in the tag team division, but separately. I feel like the very comparison of like the early portion of the year, Motor City Machine Guns were together, and then the second half of the year they went off in singles, kind of like how Balor and Priest weren't together the first half of the year, and then were together the second half of the year. I would say that the Guns tag team part was better than the Judgment Day, and I would say them separately were definitely better than the Judgment Day.
I mean, the separate. I think the Machine Guns year separately overshadows their tag team portion of the year. So, as opposed to Judgment Day is kind of like finishing off this year strong. So I don't know. It's two different ways to look at it. I think you can go either way. You can't really fault the Motor City Machine Guns, right? They're one of the greatest tag teams of all time. So you can go either way.
And I think that's going to be like a common theme when we talk about a bunch of these tag teams is a tale of two halves for a bunch of these tag teams that we're going to talk about. But let's start off our list here, Chris G. And of course, if you're watching, sound off in the live chat if you're watching the premiere. But most of all, let us know in the comments down below who is your 2023 tag team of the year. Let us know in the comments down below. Let the conversation happen, because this list, like I said, was voted on by our team, our Patreon backers, and a couple of our friends outside of the Tru Heel Heat gang, but we want to hear your opinion as well. But let's start off here with number 10. Coming in at number 10 with 3 nominations, only 4 points overall, but hey, it got on a couple of people's nominations here. We have the number 1 contenders for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championships coming up at Wrestle Kingdom. It is TJP and Francisco Akira, Catch 2 of United Empire. For those that not know, from what they've been doing over in New Japan Pro Wrestling, they became kind of like the star team of the junior heavyweight division with their title run that started in 2022, came into 2023 with that title reign, beating Leo Rush and Yo at Wrestle Kingdom, defending the titles in a great match against Doki and Katamaru at New Beginning, holding on to those titles until they ran into the Jet Setters, but they immediately won those titles back. So they were 2-time junior heavyweight tag team champions this year. They then got into a feud with the Bullet Club War Dogs where they lost the titles over the summer, but that did not stop them from having a great fall where they went into the Super Junior Tag League, and despite some odds losing to the Bullet Club War Dogs in the tournament, they still were not denied defeating House of Torture to win the Super Junior Tag League and earn their spot at the Tokyo Dome at Wrestle Kingdom in 2024 on January 4th. Catch 2 I've been saying for a few months, pretty much this whole year, that Catch 2 is one of my favorite tag teams. And I love it when a veteran is with a young guy and you can see the young guy grow. And we've seen Francisco Akira kind of had some singles moments throughout 2023 with like in the Best of Super Juniors against El Desperado, but you've really seen them kind of grow as a tag team over the last year. Any thoughts on Catch 2 coming in at number 10 here?
I haven't seen much of them, but I've been hearing good things. And I mean, I know how good TJP can be. So I hear good things about this young kid Akira. So, I'm not surprised that they're a good tag team. And good for them, kind of making their own lane into that junior tag division. Especially because I feel like they've been tagging for a while already, maybe like 2 or 3 years, and now they're starting to get like some love. So yeah, more power to them. I hope they continue to improve as a tag team.
Yeah, we're gonna see more from them, of course. Like I said, they versed the Bullet Club War Dogs at Wrestle Kingdom 18, and of course here at Tru Heel Heat, we're gonna give you a preview of Wrestle Kingdom. We got 2 previews of Wrestle Kingdom, so look
What
on
time is Wrestle Kingdom again? Eastern
probably like
Standard
3
Time.
a.m. 3 a.m.
Okay,
on Thursday,
we did it
January
last time.
4th.
We did it last year, so
I'm doing it
I'm
again.
gonna
I'm doing the watch
I'm,
along. I'm hosting. You
all
could
right,
come. You could come for the
I'm
ride.
gonna see if I can get a sleep early, type of thing, and then wake up for 3 in the morning and have 7 cups of coffee again.
Yeah,
So
you
I can
gotta
have
do
the
it.
bubble guts before the Kenny Omega Will Ospreay match again.
And this time it's gonna be before Bryan Danielson versus Keshiko
Yeah,
Okada.
there we go. Well worth the bubble guts.
Next, we got coming in at number 9 here with four nominations actually, with 8 points overall. It is 2/3 of the current AEW World Trios Champions, the Acclaimed. Of course, Max Caster, Anthony Bowens, they were on our list last year with their great breakout year that they had in 2022. They also won the Tru Heel Heat annual awards, most improved wrestlers. But this year, they came in as AEW World Tag Team Champions, losing the titles to the Guns in February. They were still in the mix for a couple of months there before transitioning into the Trios division alongside Daddy Ass, Billy Gunn, after two failed attempts at Double or Nothing and on Collision against House of Black. They were victorious at Wembley Stadium, becoming the new AEW World Trios champions, and have successfully defended the titles on 10 occasions already over 100 plus days as champions. So kind of like I said, a tale of two halves, where the first half of the year they were as a duo, second half of the year more as a trio, but the Acclaim's popularity has still stayed intact. So what did you think about the Acclaim in 2023?
I mean, I love the Acclaim, but let's keep it real. The most of their 2023 success has been as a trios with Billy Gunn, or
Yeah.
Daddy Ass as we like to call him. So this, I guess this is one of those teams that you could interchange for the Guns, or Judgment Day, depending on how you look at it. Because I feel like, yeah, they're a great tag team and they're still together, but the Acclaimed with Daddy Ass has been the attraction for the most part of this year. So
I would have actually put the Guns here. I think the Guns have
yeah,
deserved more of a spot here. They had not on the same level, but maybe a tier below the breakout that the Acclaim had last year. They had it this year.
yeah, I agree. I mean, they really improved as a tag team, and you can tell they're like kind of oozing charisma now with this Bullet Club Cold shit. So, and they got creative. They got a dope entrance. They look the part. They're Billy Gunn's kids. I mean, they're good, and they're only gonna get better. So, kudos to them.
I think if we did stable of the year, Bullet Club Gold would be much higher on this list. If this was stable
Yeah,
of the year instead of tag
they're
team.
arguably top stable of the year because they're very entertaining, and they've been very entertaining since they debuted together.
Facts. Next, we got coming in at number 8. Number 8 actually had less nominations than number 9 here, but this came in very late. Like our last couple of nominations kind of snuck this in, and I know Chris G is gonna have no idea who the hell these is, but this is why we get nominations from people outside of it. But with 3 nominations, including one first place nominations, 9 points overall, we got from All Japan Pro Wrestling, Kento Miyahara and Yuma Ayaki. These two men are like the two top stars of All Japan Pro Wrestling. And I really get the opportunity to talk about All Japan Pro Wrestling, but they've really had a breakout year where many people feel they are the promotion of the year, really kind of becoming one of the top promotions in Japan. And a lot of that is down to Kento Miyahara and Yuma Ayaki. As opponents, as tag team partners, they have delivered some of the best matches of the year. And in the tag team division, they have kind of been the heavyweight tag team to kind of look after over the last 3 years in All Japan Pro Wrestling, kind of bringing back the All Japan great tag team wrestling that we used to see in the 90s. You see it with these guys, whether it was against Ayaki's brother, whether it was against Noah, with Keno and Soya. Ayaki and Miyahara have always delivered. And when you talk about All Japan Pro Wrestling, when anybody, if they're a fan of All Japan Pro Wrestling, those are the first two names you're going to hear. So I am glad they made our list here. Are you surprised that a duo from a promotion you probably rarely heard of 2023 made our list here?
I am a little surprised, but I've heard of Kenta. I haven't seen any of his stuff, but I mean, just based off of everything you just said, I imagine he's pretty fucking good. So, we have this little WWE NXT fucking talent exchange coming up soon, man. Maybe we could start getting some eyes on these All Japan guys so we can become more familiar with them. Us that are not fucking, so intertwined with the Japanese wrestling. Because it's awesome. It's just you gotta look for it.
Yeah, and in all Japan, it's very much you gotta look for it, and you also have to kind of deal with the Japanese commentary. They're
Oh,
a
but that's fine.
promotion.
You
Their
know me.
promotion. Yeah, I know. I know. Most
I
of us,
watch Wrestle Kingdom in Japanese.
yeah,
I love that
most of us
shit.
True Heel Heat, we used to the Japanese commentary, but I'm just saying it's a lot for an American fan to get used to watch this type of stuff. But like I said, they delivered some of the best matches over in Japan, whether it was singles, whether it's tag team. Kento Miyahara versus Nakajima earlier this year, one of the best matches of the entire year, and then they're going to have their rematch for the Triple Crown Championship coming up at the end of December. So a lot to look forward to from All Japan Pro Wrestling. And maybe this is your hint for fans who are watching this list, but not a fan of All Japan. You should start watching and start with these two guys. Next up, we got number 7, Chris G, coming in at number 7, also with 4 nominations, 11 points overall. A team that has won this award before, the Young Bucks. The Young Bucks coming in with 11 points. Young Bucks in 2023, they came into the year involved in the Best of 7 series with Death Triangle over the AEW World Trios Championships, winning in a fantastic match on the January 11th episode of AEW Dynamite. They held on to the Trios Championship until another spectacular Trios bout at Revolution, where they lost to the House of Torture. From there, them and Kenny Omega started the story with the Blackpool Combat Club, where they reunited with Hangman Adam Page, lost in the Anarchy in the Arena, then won at Forbidden Door in a big 10-man tag before winning the war with the Blackpool Combat Club in Blood and Guts. Then from there, they went into a rivalry with FTR leading into Wembley Stadium. In my eyes, the best match at All In, the Young Bucks versus FTR 3, with FTR beating the Young Bucks. But then after that, their year kind of took a dip as far as when we saw them, how they were used. They won a 4-way match to become number 1 contenders at AEW Wrestle Dream, but then lost that number 1 contendership to Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho at Full Gear, and have not been seen since. This was one year where, as a Young Bucks fan, I think the Young Bucks are the greatest tag team of all time. Like, it's not even a question. I'm not even going to say one of the greatest. They are the greatest tag team of all time in my eyes. This was a down year. They should not even be on this list.
I'm gonna agree with you. I'm gonna agree with you because I feel like a lot of their highlights of the year were part of the elite rather than just them being the Young Bucks. Because then
Yes.
once they kind of just became the Young Bucks again, it was like it felt like very hot and cold. Like they were just doing nothing, and then oh shit, they got a number 1 contender title shot, and we're going to All In against FTR, and they got 4 or 5 weeks to build this rivalry up again, and then disappear, and then come back for Wrestle Dream to win this shit, do a little storyline with Kenny and Chris, and then disappear. So yeah, very, very, very weird year for the Young Bucks.
Very weird year. I'm hoping that, the rumors that they're coming out with a whole new character and stuff like that, hopefully it leads to a better year in 2024 for them, and a better direction and focus, because they should be always one of the focuses of the tag team division. And I think that the fact that the Young Bucks had an off year where the focus and the concentration on them wasn't there, I think is not really too much of a coincidence why it's been a down year overall for the AEW tag team division.
Yeah, that's right. That makes sense. You gotta build around your best tag teams, right? And they're kind of just fluttering out there, then you don't really have a tag team division, i.e. WWE, when they have actual tag teams and they just flutter around, and then the division's not really a tag team division anymore.
Indeed. Next, we got coming in at number 6, Chris. Coming in at number 6 with 5 nominations on 12 points overall. we have Aussie Open, Kyle Fletcher and Mark Davis, who might be the most decorated tag team of 2023, despite only being together for about 5 months of the year. Like, they came into 2023 really focused on accomplishing their goal of winning the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Championships, and they accomplished that at Sakura Genesis, defeating Bishamon in a tremendous bout there. Then they went on and parlayed that just mere weeks later into winning the NJPW Strong Tag Team titles, defeating Hiroshi Tanahashi and Kashika Okada, as well as the Motor City Machine Guns in a three-way matchup. The next night, they had another terrific bout, beating Leo Rush and Tomohiro Ishii. They were the first double tag team champions in New Japan Pro Wrestling history. Then Mark Davis went down. Mark Davis went down with an injury, but then they got back. They won the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championships, holding on to those titles for a bit before losing them to Better Than You, Baby, at All In. And then, unfortunately, Mark Davis went down with another injury in the year, where these two men had to, the first injury, they had to relinquish the IWGP Tag Team Champions and the New Japan Strong Tag Team titles. They've had matches for the Impact Tag Team titles this year, great matches with the Young Bucks, FTR at Wrestle Dream. So they sprinkled some great quality work throughout the year, but injuries was the one thing that kind of held them back. I think this is one of the first ones on this list where I'm like, yeah, that's probably where this team should be. Because I think if they would have wrestled more without injuries, they would be in the top three.
Oh, absolutely. They're a top 3 tag team. But the fact that they did only spend 5 months together and Mark Davis has been hurt for majority of the year kind of affects their standing as a tag team for the entire year. Even though they accomplished, I didn't even realize they accomplished so much in such a little time. You're talking about 3 or 4 different tag team titles, you know what I mean? That's a hell of a year or a hell of a half year. But, when you look at the other tag teams, and the longevity they had throughout the year, it's a little hard to put them above where they're at now. Even top 5 might even be like, pushing it. But yeah, I think it's a good spot for them.
I would honestly, when we get to number 5 here, I would honestly argue that I would take Aussie Open over that team based on just 2023. Just 2023. But we will get to that, and you guys in the chat can, in the comments, can have your own debate on where you think Aussie Open should have been. But let's get into number 5 here, Chris. Coming in at number 5 on 7 nominations, 18 points overall. We have the Usos, Jimmy and Jay, who of course came into the year holding the longest reign in WWE history as tag team champions, holding the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championships, heading into WrestleMania 39, where they made history and became the first team to defend the tag team titles in the main event of WrestleMania, in one of the best matches of the year for WWE against Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. After WrestleMania, they found themselves on the opposing side of the bloodline, as Roman Reigns' domineering attitude led to Jimmy Uso turning on him, and then Jay Uso with one of the best promo segments of the year, saying, "If you're out, I'm out too," joining his brother against Roman and Solo, leading to another fantastic bout at Money in the Bank, where the Usos defeated Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa, with Jay Uso pinning Roman Reigns, setting the stage for SummerSlam, where one of the greatest storylines of all time fell fucking apart because they broke up the Usos. And that's the end of the Usos in 2023. That's why I think Aussie Open should have been here.
Yeah, agreed. Because it feels like for so long already, they haven't even been a fucking tag team. And it's only been since around SummerSlam time, but still, almost half a year. So once again, one of those years for a tag team where it's like half the year they're there, and then the rest of the year is just like they're not. They literally hate each other now. It's crazy.
Like, I think they did enough in the first half of the year, and they were a part of, the biggest story in WWE, that they did enough to be on this list for sure. I'm just not sure if that was enough to be top 5 over a team like Aussie Open. So, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean they did come in with that reign, that longest reign, and they did put on probably a 5-star match with Sammy and KO, right? So
Yeah.
they did great for the time that they were together, and you know, just, do they did they accomplish as much as Aussie Open? Probably not.
I would say definitely not. Definitely not as much as Aussie Open. Just gonna say that. Just gonna say that. But Aussie Open got the love at number 6. Usos at number 5, which brings us to number 4 here. Chris G coming in at number 4 is a team that we mentioned earlier, coming in also with 7 nominations, but that included one first place vote, 19 points overall, just 1 point higher than the Usos. We had Bishamon, Hiroki Goto, and Yoshihashi, which, like, 4 or 5 years ago, this was a makeshift team. This was what Chris G was talking about, a makeshift team of 2 single stars who really were kind of failures of single stars that they kind of put together because they were both members of Chaos. And throughout the past 3 to 4 years, especially through the pandemic and the last couple of years, where they have become the faces of tag team wrestling in New Japan Pro Wrestling. These guys came into the year winning the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Championships from FTR at Wrestle Kingdom, holding the titles until Sakura Genesis, where they had a fantastic matchup with the Aussie Open to drop the titles, like I said earlier. But before that, they had an even excellent match of the year worthy bout with Kashiko Okada and Hiroshi Tanahashi at the anniversary show. From there, they kind of found themselves still in the tag team mist due to the Aussie Open injury. They regained the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Championships as well as the NJPW Strong Openweight Tag Team titles, giving them 3 separate title reigns throughout this year. And then they lost those strong openweight tag team titles to the Bullet Club War Dogs, but defended the titles against them with the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Championships. And then they made history by being the three-peat World Tag League winners, meaning they've won the World Tag League in 2021, in 2022, and now in 2023, including in a match of the year worthy, one of the best tag team matches of the entire year against the Gorillas of Destiny, El Phantasmo, and Hikuleo in the World Tag League Finals, what many people are calling the best World Tag Team Tag League Final of all time. Hiroki Goto and Yoshihashi, they don't get enough love because I feel like they are the most underrated tag team in the world today because they have just consistently delivered for New Japan over the last 4 years.
It's funny because remember when we used to have like the running joke about Yoshihashi? It was like, oh, fucking great. Here's Yoshihashi, right? And then Goto is always the question of, damn, man, this motherfucker puts on bangers. And why do you just like lose all the time? Like, why do they have no faith in him? It's good to see these two guys like get put together and become one of like a staple in New Japan Pro Wrestling and basically the faces of that tag team division. I want to make it a point in 2024 to catch more New Japan. Simply for the fact that for the last year, I've been paying every month for New Japan World.
This man's insane, y'all.
That's how much I support. Impact Plus, I'm coming for you.
Coming for you, nigga.
Yeah, it's coming for you, nigga. We supporting everybody. We doing TNA, baby, because TNA's back.
We're getting
But
TNA Plus on what
absolutely.
is it on? It's on Endeavor's streaming service. It's weird.
Whoa, that's funny. Talk about the irony. But yeah, New Japan definitely want to catch more Bishamon since I hear nothing but good things about them. So definitely got to check them out more.
Shout out to that 40-minute banger with God, El Phantasmo, and Hikuleo. We talked about that in the interview that is up right now with me. You can check that out on the Tru Heel Heat YouTube channel when you're done with this, because we're almost done as we are in the top 3 now. Chris G coming in at number 3 with 11 nominations. So 11 of the 18 nominations, 30 points overall, which is amazing because this team got no first place votes. There's teams below it. Even Bishamon got a first place vote. But this team was just consistently on so many ballots, but never at number one. But everyone had them included. 30 points overall. We have the current TNA World Tag Team Champions, Chris Bay, Ace Austin, the ABC, the Bullet Club is in the house here. So ABC, of course, they got together last year during the Super Junior Tag League tournament, and then came into this year with the goal set to win the Impact World Tag Team titles. They accomplished that goal in February, beating the Motor City Machine Guns in one of the best Impact matches of 2023 that a lot of people sleep on, a lot of people forgot because it happened in February, but it was great. They won the tag team titles there, holding on to the titles till they dropped it to Subculture in the summer. They are on the quest to regain the gold in a rivalry with the Rascals, who cost them the titles and then won the titles, and were using any type of means to keep the ABC away from the gold until they regained the Impact World Tag Team titles at Bound for Glory. But throughout the year, they've had spectacular bouts, whether it was against the Motor City Machine Guns, Moose and Brian Myers, the Rascals, Subculture. It did not matter who they were against, whether in Impact Wrestling, Revolver, across the independent scene. Chris Bay and Ace Austin have established themselves as one of the best tag teams in the world, and it's great for me to see this and say all of this coming at the end of the year, because I got to speak to Chris Bay in March, right after they won the tag team titles, and they said the goal for this year was to establish themselves as one of the best, and here they are at number 3. Chris G, you've watched it closer than anybody here at Tru Heel Heat. What did you think about ABC in 2023?
Oh, they definitely deserve a top 3 spot. They're one of the better gelled tag teams out there in a very short amount of time. Their chemistry is really good, and they're very creative. They're two athletic, like two very athletic guys. So the shit that they come up with, like in terms of tag team moves and just like feeding off of each other, is, I mean, it's cool to see. I like it. I've been a big fan of them since they became a tag team. I was a fan of both of them individually before they were a tag team. So to see them thrive in this role and just kind of, wear that Bullet Club proud in Impact, be that the representative in Impact Wrestling is pretty cool. So hopefully they have an even better 2024.
Indeed, and now it's going to be very interesting with, because one of my questions in our second interview that we did with Chris Bay, which I believe was at the beginning of December, I asked them, like, what's the new faces, who's the new challenges for the ABC, because they pretty much have faced pretty much all the Impact TNA roster as far as like the major tag teams, whether it's the Rascals, whether it's the Motor City Machine Guns, whether it's Subculture. On the day we're recording this, TNA announces the Grizzled Young Veterans are about to debut in TNA at Hard to Kill. And I was just like, that's how you shake up this tag team division. Yes, sir.
Zach Gibson has a beard again. Yes. All is right in the world.
And just based on how they are finished 2023, I think that I wouldn't be surprised if the Grizzled Young Veterans are on this list come to the end of 2024.
I mean, they kind of proved their worth, right? Their last like month there, they got like the little time to just kind of show what they can do when they're given the opportunity, and they took advantage of it. Now they're going to be able to showcase their talents to a different audience, but you're really going to get to see like how good the Grizzled Young Veterans are.
Indeed, but it's about that time to get into the top 2. Coming in at number 2 here with 14 of the 18 nominations, including the most first place votes, 51 points overall. It is Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Like I said earlier, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn were a part of the biggest storyline, the best storyline of 2023 for WWE, with their rivalry with the Bloodline. forming together, coming together in March before winning the WWE Undisputed Tag Team titles at WrestleMania in a 5-star classic with the Usos. From there, they defended and were kind of the workhorses, the heart and soul of Raw every single week, whether it was in singles action, whether it was in tag team matching, whether you want to mention the banger Sami Zayn had with Gunther or the banger Kevin Owens had with Gunther, whether it was their series of matches with the Judgment Day or with the Bloodline. These guys have kind of been the MVPs. There's an argument for each of them to be the MVP of this year, but together they have put together one of the more impressive years of any tag team in recent WWE memory. And for old school ROHPWG fans of El Generico and Kevin Steen, this has been a dream come true watching what they have done for WWE wrestling. And yeah, there was a dip off the second half of the year, but we can literally say that about every tag team. I will not lie, and I will say it here. This was my vote for number one. I think that there's no argument. Like Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn were the best tag team in WWE in a year that WWE took tag team wrestling more seriously than ever. And I think that them main eventing and being a part, them main eventing WrestleMania, being a part of a 5-star matchup, and also being a part of the biggest storylines in WWE, their rivalry with the Bloodline, their rivalry with the Judgment Day. Those are the two most important things if you watch Monday Night Raw in 2023. I think that there's no question this should be the tag team of the year, but they're here at number 2. What did you think about their 2023? Do you think they're in the right spot here?
Yeah, because like the rest of the tag teams, I would say like they had like 3/4 of the year together as opposed to like half of the year, for whatever reason. But the entertainment value was there. They were like, one of the main focal points of WWE. They put on that banger at WrestleMania. They main evented. They became tag team champions. It was like one of the feel good moments, of the year for WWE. Everybody wanted to see it. And the title defenses after they won the title, like were really good. Like it was just like we were expecting to get a tag team banger every week.
Yeah.
And it's been a while since I feel like WWE has done that, if at all. So they deserve it. I mean, you could go either way, one or two. I think they're definitely, it should be in the upper echelon of this list.
Indeed. It should be all 18 nominations that voted for this team. If we had all 18, then they would be number one. Only reason I'm saying that, ladies and gentlemen, Chris G knows we had a very long debate in our group chat over this specific topic because people just wanted to hate on Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Oh, the second half of the year, they fell off. Every one of these teams, except for ABC and Bishamon.
And Judgment Day.
Was Judgment Day, they had a bad half of the year. So like every one of these teams had one half of the year where they either weren't together or were doing not as good as they were the first half.
It's true.
All right, but we have finally made it to that time. The number one best tag team of 2023 as voted on by us at Tru Heel Heat, our Patreon backers and our friends of the channel, with 15 of the 18 nominations, including 6 first place votes, 59 points overall. It is the winner of the Tru Heel Heat 6th annual tag team of the year and number one on our 2022 tag team of the year list. It is Dax Harwood. It is Cash Wheeler. It is FTR. FTR returned to AEW at Revolution in March and immediately positioned themselves as the number one contenders for the Guns and the AEW World Tag Team Championships, beating the Guns in April for the gold to start their second reign as AEW World Tag Team Champions. They had successful defenses over Team TNA. Yes, the more said about that, the more we wouldn't have had them at number one. But yes, they also they also feuded with Bullet Club Gold at the start of Collision, which led to one of the best matches of the year. Only two 5-star tag team matches in 2023. We mentioned Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn versus the Usos at WrestleMania 39. The other was the FTR versus Bullet Club Gold on the July 15th edition of AEW Collision, one of the best matches, TV matches in AEW history. From there, they feuded with the Young Bucks, beating them in Wembley Stadium in a great match at All In. Then they defended the gold against Aussie Open at Wrestle Dream in another great matchup. Just time after time, they delivered in the ring, on the mic. They were the faces of tag team wrestling for AEW once again this year. And this year, they got their well-deserved reign, another reign with the tag team gold. But their reign ended kind of prematurely in my eyes as they lost to Big Bill and Ricky Starks in October on an episode of Collision. They were a part of that great four-way tag team ladder match at Full Gear. And then since then, they've been feuding with the House of Black. But FTR, man, I feel like it's just off of that great run that they had with the AEW World Tag Team titles from April to October. That's really kind of because they weren't here for the first 2 months of the year and they didn't do much after they lost the titles. But that title reign is the reason why many people voted them in the top spot. So, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I probably had them number one. It's because that title reign, the consistency. Every match is going to be a great tag team match. We already know what to expect when they are up against the Young Bucks. Them versus Aussie Open really was like a dream match, right? Wrestle Dream. So it was cool to see that. Especially, given the year that Mark Davis had, we were lucky enough to get that match. So yeah, man, the consistency is just there with them. They're just the top, they're the actual tag team. They're the guys that are there for a while together. They have the best chemistry, and it's all clicking for them right now. And you could argue about the last the first 3 months they weren't here, and then they lost the tag team titles. They haven't really been doing much like the rest of the tag teams on this list, right? It's kind of like the same story. So why not give it to the most consistent top guys, in the tag team division?
It does make sense. And, I was going to make the argument that this is, oh, you guys are just gave them the votes because they had a great 2022. You still living in the past. You still thinking about their 2022. But like this is why we go over these people's years when they make our list and going over their year and the accomplishments and the matches that they have. I do understand why some people would have them at number one, and I'm not going to front. They were number two for me, so I added a lot to this as well.
Yeah, they
But
were either one or two on everybody's list, I feel like.
pretty much, yeah. They made pretty much every. Like I said, 15 of 18 nominations, and I think the only 3 that didn't make the list were the people that were voting for mostly Japan tag teams. Why Miyahara and Aoyagi made our list. But I want to thank everyone who was a part of the panel who voted on our list. And I want to thank everyone who watching either on demand or watching the live premiere. I want to thank you for watching this list and being a part of it by dropping the thumbs up and commenting down below to let us know if you think the list was right and which team do you think should have been included or shouldn't have been included in our top 10. But most of all, I want to thank Chris G for joining me here. Chris G, let the people know where they can follow you on social media.
Oh, you can find me at Tru Heel Chris G. You can see me right here every Wednesday. Elite Heat on the YouTube channel. Tru Heel Heat Sports, Tru Heel Heat Check with SP3. Whatever watch alongs we can do over there as well. And then every Thursday night on the Twitch, Blunt Impact, Patreon, Hardcore Rewind. And we're gonna start gaming. We're not gonna try it. We're gonna do it. We're getting back on the gaming. I just got the new Modern Warfare. We got the Harry Potter up and going. We reinvested in the Grand Theft Auto. We are making it happen 2024. Friday nights, we will be getting back to it.
There you go. There's the promise. There's the promise. A guarantee.
I'm promising. It is a guarantee. We're stepping it up this year. We're guaranteed.
He's guaranteeing it. Thank you, sir. Follow me on the Twitter machine at Tru Heel SP3. Follow the gang, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at Tru Heel Heat. Best places to support us when we're not here. Patreon.com/Tru Heel Heat. $3 a month gets you exclusive content, the Tru Heel Heat Prediction Championship, plus much, much more, including you could be a part of the voting for our year-end list. We are still taking voting for a couple of the other lists we're going to be doing. We're doing Women's Wrestler of the Year, Men's Wrestler of the Year, Best Major Show, and Match of the Year. So you could vote on that and be a part of that at patreon.com/Tru Heel Heat. Best place to get your merchandise, ProWrestlingTees.com or ForYourWear.com. Best two places to get your Tru Heel Heat merchandise. And you could also vote on, we'll have the polls up, the forums up on Patreon, as well as our community tab, where you can vote on the 7th annual Tru Heel Heat Year-End Awards. This is voted on by all of you to let us know who won all the awards. Best stable, best tag team, match of the year, promo of the year. You let us know. January 6th, right here on the Tru Heel Heat YouTube channel, the flagship podcast, Tru Heel Heat 258. So you can start voting now. If you're seeing this video, the poll is up now to vote. And check out the flagship podcast from this past weekend, Tru Heel Heat 256, with myself and Miss Chrissy Love talking all the major news, including Hiroshi Tanahashi becoming New Japan president. Check out Collision Discourse number 19, a Christmas Eve edition, with myself talking everything that went down on AEW Collision this past Saturday. So check that out as well. But for Chris G, it is me, your Tru Heel Phenom SP3. Merry Christmas, happy holidays to all of you, Happy New Year, all that good stuff. This has been Tru Heel Heat's 2023 Tag Teams of the Year. We are signing off until next time.